Is it worth spending the extra money for the Motorola G5s Plus over the Lenovo K8 Note when both smartphones run same stock Android? How are two siblings different from each other? Which smartphone has the better dual camera implementation? Let's find out. In terms of specification, Motorola has 13 MP of dual camera setup. And Lenovo K8 Note has 13 MP of primary camera and 5 MP of BSI sensor. I didn't want to go about testing the K8 Note and Motorola 5s Plus in a controlled lab, or we can say controlled lighting condition with the use of tripods. That's not how people use their camera. As the camera that always with you, it was important to me to see how the camera would perform in the real world when situation is unpredictable, or we can say unpredictable lighting condition. For an outdoor shot in direct sunlight, the two most important things I looked for are color accuracy and dynamic range. Both captured decent pic here, no issue with detail and quality. But compare the surface, Moto G5s capture warmer pic here as compared to Lenovo K8 Note. The flower and color in G5s photo way overexposed and image quality is bit too soft. G5 also having issue with white balance here, but K8 Note did good job and takes a lot of detail here. In terms of detail, both takes good amount of detail, but Motorola 5s Plus is struggling with white balance issue. Look at the vegetables, which looks yellow on Moto 5s Plus. Here Lenovo takes a perfect shot, or we can say manage the color tone and capture a lot of detail. But Motorola 5s Plus photo has a slight yellow tint and considerable blurry. Again, same apples with different angle. This time Lenovo K8 Note takes cool pic, which actually not satisfying the condition, where Motorola 5s Plus take a lot of detail and having good dynamic range. However, little yellow tint present here. I was lucky to have sunny outdoor condition, or we can say ideal condition for testing the camera limits about color reproduction. At first look, I thought both phones did a pretty good job here and captured a lot of detail. But when I compare both images on same screen, so I find out that K8 Note actually did a good job, or we can say capture a lot of detail with accurate color reproduction, where you can easily find the difference between yellow, orange and green, blue. But Motorola is still struggling with white balance issue, or we can say yellow tint, and not able to manage difference between yellow and orange. So definitely Lenovo did a pretty good job here. Again, same, both capture a lot of detail, but Motorola is still struggling with white balance issue. Now it's time for background sunlight condition, where we can find out the dynamic range difference. You can easily spot the difference that Lenovo K8 Note actually struggling with dynamic range here, but Motorola managed to capture both dynamic range, or we can say background and main object, with details. Both phones support HDR, high dynamic range, that can help to expose the area that would be otherwise overexposed. I want to see how smart the camera and software were without any manual intervention. Lenovo Color are more true to life, but overexposed image captured by Lenovo as compared to Motorola. However, with yellow tint, Motorola able to capture balanced image here. So you can easily spot the difference between background here, where you can easily spot the electric wire, or we can say mobile tower here. But Lenovo K8 actually overexposed the background here. One of the most obvious factor to control depth of field is the aperture. When you have a smaller aperture, you will have wide depth of field. When you have a large aperture, you will have a narrow depth of field. The blurry part that are not in focus is called bokeh. K8 Note photo is sharp, but the color is a tint bluer, but not that offensive as Motorola 5S yellowish tint. Motorola takes pick on low aperture. Because of low aperture, blurriness of background is more and only covering face, not the whole body, so it's look like circle blur, what we often do with software editing. Lenovo photo is sharp here and Motorola pick bit too soft. But if we talk about here depth of field, Motorola capturing pick on low aperture, so more blurry background. But if we talk about edges, Lenovo edges are soft and smooth. Motorola left some background object to blur. Motorola having rough edges, not smooth edges like K8 Note. When it's come to indoor condition, Motorola is doing pretty good job here and capturing a lot of detail. But K8 Note is not able to capture good amount of detail. So the unavoidable frustration of people walking into the shot. The mall was a great location to see how well the camera would perform indoors, where there are a number of different light sources. Here, K8 Note takes a perfect depth of field shot with smooth edges, but Motorola is still struggling with edges. In low light condition, actually Motorola again is struggling with yellowish tint or white balance issue and not able to manage the accurate color reproduction. You can see here it's a red light, or we can say where Lenovo capture accurate color reproduction here and Motorola is not able to capture. everyone's idea of the perfect selfie is different. Some people want the smooth skin, some people care about having accurate skin tones, some people care about having wide angle lens. I want it all, and I want my selfie to look crisp and possible maintain the detail. Obviously I want my skin to glow, but not too much that it look like airbrushed. So definitely there is a difference here. In terms of dynamic range, Motorola doing good job here, a balanced dynamic range. If we talk about here front camera recording, the Lenovo K8 Note overdoes it with the saturation and crank up the blueness. Where Motorola doing pretty good job here and controlling, or we can say balanced dynamic range here. The Lenovo K8 Note has the opposite problem of the Motorola with color temperature being too cool, or we can say blue, but the photo is sharp. Color is a tint bluer with 100% crop, actually all with the highest resolution. Motorola did a good job here. Here is the specification. Motorola is able to capture 4K video with 30 fps, Full HD video with 60 fps and Full HD video with 30 fps, and also able to record slow motion videos. Where Lenovo K8 Note can able to capture Full HD video at 30 fps and HD video at 30 fps. There is no slow motion recording on K8 Note. Now I am going to cover outdoor condition test with autofocus, and then zoom in test, indoor condition test, and low light condition test. Oversaturated and little bit yellowish tint captured by Motorola as compared to Lenovo K8 Note. But in terms of autofocus, both are doing pretty good job here and also capturing a lot of detail. So no issue with detail and autofocusing, only issue with color reproduction here, or we can say yellowish tint on Motorola. Now test, where we are going to perform zoom in test, and again Motorola performing really well here. So no issue with zooming test on Motorola. Now moving to our next test, indoor lighting condition. So again, Motorola is actually struggling with white balance issue. You can easily spot the difference in lighting condition here.